If you clicked on this video, we bet you love fall just as much as we do. The cooler temperatures are rolling in, the pumpkins are out, Halloween is right around the corner, and there are some great in-season ingredients to use for your fall meal prep. So that's exactly what we're working on today. Hello, if you are new here, my name is Jacqueline Poole with Mod Assistants. We are household management and business admin experts, and on this channel, we take the years of experience from our team of personal and virtual assistants to help you within your home and at your business. Today, we are focusing on fall meal prep. Meal prep is the number one request we hear from our personal assistant clients, and it is the number one thing our personal assistants are doing on a weekly basis. And we love to incorporate whatever seasonal ingredients we can to keep our meals really fresh for our clients. And of course, all the recipes we use keep it really simple and easy for them on their busy weeknights. So let's get into our 10 favorite fall flavored meal prep recipes.
And we are starting off strong with maple turkey chili, a classic fall meal. And chili is a favorite of ours for make-ahead meal prep because it does reheat so nicely. This recipe uses lean ground turkey, so it's a great option if you're looking to go with a more lean meat, and lots of warm, hearty spices to really pull through on that fall flavor. It also includes diced tomatoes, some white beans, and of course, the star of the show, some maple syrup. And you really can taste that sweetness coming through. It's unexpected and really delicious. After we cook our chili, we do let it cool to room temperature and put it in a reusable container and keep it in the fridge for up to 4 days. Like we said, it reheats really nicely. To serve, we keep it very simple in a bowl with some avocado slices and cilantro. Really let this chili be the star of the show. If you are looking for a side, cornbread works really well with this. Next up is a pulled pork sandwich with apple slaw. Of course, apples are in season during the fall and they are at their absolute best. So not only do we have a lot on hand for snacking, but we like to incorporate them into every recipe we can think of. Now, this recipe calls for your apples to be spiralized, and if you have time and want to go for that, absolutely do it. We wanted to save a little bit of time and just cut ours into some thin matchsticks, and that worked perfectly fine. The pork is incredibly easy. It goes into the slow cooker with a little bit of salt and pepper and some liquid smoke to give it that smoky flavor, as if it just came off of a grill. Once the apples are sliced, we mix them quickly with a little bit of lettuce and a vinaigrette, and this works as a nice, tangy, tart, crunchy topping to that savory pulled pork. To build the sandwiches, we kept it really simple with some whole wheat hamburger buns, stacked it high with the pork, the slaw, and drizzled on top with a maple mustard sauce to keep a little bit of moisture and some additional flavor in the sandwich. For meal prep, for make ahead, what we like to do is create all the different parts of the recipe and keep them separately within our fridge. So the pork cooled down after it comes out of the slow cooker, separate from the apple and lettuce slaw, separate from the maple mustard sauce. And that way nothing gets soggy, everything stays the texture you want it to be until you assemble the night of. But it really takes just a few minutes to assemble, and this really is a family favorite. Butternut baked ziti. Our special fall ingredient for this recipe is obviously butternut squash, and it is used to make an incredibly decadent, rich, creamy, delicious sauce, which there it is. I mean, look at how bubbly and delicious this sauce is. We actually cut out some of the cheese that was used in the original recipe just to save on some calories a bit, and it still worked beautifully. So don't feel like you have to make it as decadent as you'll see in the recipe. It is still delicious if you cut back. But I mean, as we pour the pasta in here, look at this. I wish we could let you hear how creamy it is as we're stirring that pasta in to the butternut squash. And that truly is mostly the pureed squash with just a little bit of cream and cheese. This was a favorite for our kids, of course, similar to a mac and cheese, but we get to put in a little bit of vegetables into their diet with the butternut squash. Pastas and casseroles like this are a great option for meal prep for make-ahead meals because they go into the fridge really easily and warm up quickly in the microwave. The way we like to do our meal prep make-ahead for casseroles is to fully bake it ahead of time with the breadcrumbs, with the cheese on top, and then just warm it up either all together in the oven, or if you like to portion it out based on how many people are eating, you can portion it out and warm it up in the microwave, and it is still truly delicious. One tip we do have for you is the breadcrumbs didn't necessarily get as moist as we'd like them to. So if you wanted to stir them up a little bit with some butter ahead of time, we think that would be a really nice addition to the recipe. But as we mentioned, really delicious, decadent meal and really easy for make-ahead meal prep. Harvest chicken skillet. We loved this recipe for this video for a few reasons. Number one, it showcases several fall ingredients. Brussels sprouts are seasonal to fall. We also used apples in this recipe and sweet potatoes, which sweet potatoes just remind us of fall, the color, the flavors. And we love this recipe because it is a one-pot wonder. Everything gets chopped up, popped into one pot, cooks all together, really doesn't take a lot of time, and then can very easily be cooled down, put into a Tupperware container, and kept in the fridge for the week. This is a great recipe option if you have a lot of people coming and going in your household, because you can just scoop out 2 quick scoops into a bowl, warm it up in the microwave, and you don't have to necessarily warm up the entire meal. You can do it portion to portion. We kept it really simple. This was the main meal. Everything was in this one bowl. And of course, where there's Brussels sprouts, there's bacon. So we got to top off the bowl with a little bit of crispy, salty bacon to add that additional flavor. Caramel apple bread. We are going to take a break from all of our savory recipes to focus on something sweet. I mean, what is more classic in fall time than a caramel apple? When we saw this recipe online, we just knew that we had to include it in our fall meal prep video. We also really love these kinds of breads for meal prep for our clients. They work really well for a quick breakfast as you're heading out the door, or depending on the recipe, it could be a sweet treat at the end of the night. They are really easy to bake ahead of time on your meal prep day, slice, and keep in the fridge for the entire week. This recipe incorporates apple chunks and cinnamon spices on the inside of the bread, and then poured over top is this heavenly caramel sauce. Now, we do want to take a moment to say that making caramel sauce from scratch is a lot. It is not easy. It can go from warm to burnt in the matter of seconds. So you can follow the made from scratch caramel recipe that is included in the recipe link below. Or if you'd like to make it even easier, we do suggest just getting caramel candies at the store and melting them down in a pot. Sometimes you have to add a little bit of milk, but that is a really nice, quick cheat to get yourself a caramel sauce. So we'll include recipes for the original as well as that quick caramel sauce in the description box below. Overall, really great recipe to have for any time, but especially in the fall. Prosciutto and Fig Salad. We took one of our favorite prep meals for our clients with salads in a jar and turned it into something that showcases fall flavors with this salad. We made a fresh Dijon vinaigrette, some blue cheese crumbles, prosciutto, fresh figs, our star fall flavor, and some red onion. We love these jar recipes because they provide our clients with something really healthy and easy for lunch that still tastes fresh, but requires absolutely no prep on their end. We make these jars at the beginning of the week, pop it in the fridge, and they're able to grab them at any time during the week. The key here is to keep the dressing on the bottom and the lettuce on the top. This keeps the lettuce from getting soggy, so when you do pour it out from the jar into a bowl, everything still has that crisp, fresh flavor. And we loved the figs and the prosciutto within this. It was a really nice balance, and again, a perfect fall meal. If you've been waiting for a true feel-good fall meal, we have it here for you with a chicken and wild rice soup. All of the comforting flavors of a chicken noodle soup that you might remember from childhood, but also soup is a perfect option for meal prep. It is a great thing to make on the weekends when you have some time, cool it down, and keep it in the fridge to be warmed up throughout the entire week. This soup incorporates onions, carrots, wild rice, which gives it a little bit of thickness. And the recipe does call for water, but we actually chose to use chicken stock just to give it a little bit more flavor. But as you can see, the soup really gets nice and thick, almost to the point where it's more of a stew than a soup. But we really enjoy that. And the flavors of the soup were simple, but absolutely delicious. And it warmed up really well throughout the week, just in the microwave. The chickens never fell apart, still tasted great. So if you're looking for that comfort recipe, this is where it's at. If you've been asking yourself, where are the pumpkin recipes? Well, we saved the best for last. The last 3 recipes on our list are all pumpkin recipes. First up, we have a pumpkin chocolate chip bread. As you'll see in the recipe for this pumpkin bread, it does give you 2 options: to either incorporate the chocolate chips or to keep the pumpkin bread plain and top it with pumpkin seeds, which is another delicious option. And this recipe actually makes 2 loaves, so you could do both chocolate chip or try one or the other. We chose to do both loaves chocolate chip because it's chocolate chips. We thought that would add a little bit of extra decadence. The way we prefer to store these breads for our clients is to actually slice it ahead of time, wrap it in a plastic wrap, put it in a reusable bag or container, and keep it in the fridge. We find that keeping it in the fridge keeps it from drying out and helps it to last a little bit longer. And when you're ready to eat, just pop it in the microwave for 20 seconds to get it nice and warm. Those chocolate chips melted a little bit, and it is a delicious thing to have on hand for fall. Let's talk savory pumpkin with a pumpkin risotto. Now, don't be scared by hearing the word risotto. A lot of people are misinformed in thinking that risotto takes a lot of expertise and really isn't for the home cook, and we completely disagree. It does take time. It is time consuming in that you have to stay by your pot, by your stove, slowly adding your stock or liquid of choice until the risotto comes together in its creamy wonderfulness. But it doesn't take a lot of effort. You don't have to be an expert in the kitchen. Now, this risotto has that beautiful pumpkin coloring that instantly reminds you of fall, but also has a really great slight sweetness from the pumpkin flavor. We add some crispy, salty bacon to the top to balance out those flavors, and a little bit of finely chopped sage. Sage is another great fall ingredient. It instantly reminds us of Thanksgiving, and that brings back, of course, wonderful memories. So this meal, all in all, is a great one to have in your rotation as we are heading into fall and makes for a really good meal prep option. All right, last recipe. We made it to the end. If you're still with us, leave us a coffee emoji in the comments below. We're going to have a little bit of fun to wrap up this fall meal prep video with a pumpkin cream cold brew. This is a copycat recipe to the delicious drink that we all know and love from Starbucks. We'll leave a couple recipe options in the description box below. We found one using whipping cream, we found one using coconut milk, and we also found one using a regular milk, which is a great option because that's generally something you will have on hand. You can use an iced coffee, a cold brew. We chose to use our Nespresso maker to create an iced coffee because it adds that extra layer of foam on top that mixes so well with the cold foam, the cold cream foam that we just made. Now this did store really well in the fridge. So we whipped it up on a Sunday as we were doing all of our meal prep and just kept it in a container in the fridge, and it kept its form, it kept great flavor all week long. We just dollop the cold cream over top of our iced coffee, top it off with a little bit of additional pumpkin pie spice, and as you can see, it just melts down into the coffee, and it's such a nice treat to be able to make from your house.
We hope you loved these fall flavored recipes, and we hope you use them in your daily life. If there's a recipe that you love to make for you and your family, please leave it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and get some more ideas for our assistants. Until next time, thank you so much for watching this video, and be sure to like and subscribe before you leave for more content from Mod in the future. Happy fall!